Gene here, back again with Firesprint.com's free sign pricing calculator. So today we're going to go over a few more things, including accessories, laminates, and substrates. But before I get into that, please check us out at Firesprint.com. We are a wholesale trade-only printer. We really want to work with you. We work with sign shops, and we work exclusively with sign shops and print shops all over the country. We have a nationwide network of resellers, and that's how we sell. We will never compete with you. Everything we ship is blind. I could just go on and on and on about why you should just go to Firesprint.com, double or triple our prices, calculate it out there, and stay away from all this stuff. But you're here. So let's get into this and how to do the nitty gritty on how to really use this sign pricing calculator to its fullest. So where we are now is in this, I think this is the 5th video. We're at accessories, laminates, and substrates. So I'm gonna start with accessories here, and these are on the wide format calculator. We've got 3 spots here where we can just add a number of accessories to our quote here, which we'll get into later, but we want to make sure we have access to all those little things that we would add. Let's say there's an easel back, or in this case, we've got frames that we add, a banner stand, grommets. This might be something where you have kind of a flat rate for install or a flat rate for design fee, design charges that you want to line items separately. Anything that you kind of want to add a flat rate and a quantity to this job, you would do through accessories. So you can see, of course, we've got the 24-inch H frame. Price per unit is 99 cents through Firesprint. The markup is 100%, so that means we're going to sell it for $1.98. So if I wanted to add, let's say I'm going to add a 30-inch H frame right here. We can get that one for $1.19, I think, at Firesprint.com, and I accidentally added an extra period there. That's why it didn't like that at all. And then I need to put a markup in there. If we do a 0% markup, for example, we're going to sell it for $1.19, which is what we paid for it. We don't want to do that. So on accessories like this, we might double it. Maybe you do a 50% markup. You can always discount this stuff later, and we'll get into that on the other side of the price calculator. But that's how we add accessories. The reason why I have grommets at 500%, so you got a 10-cent grommet we're selling for 50 cents, is because I'm including some of my labor, essentially, that's just not really seen in the other places in the price guide. If I'm selling a grommet, I'm not going to hand them the grommet. We're actually going to put it in the sign. And so I've got about 50 cents in there just for the labor of installing that grommet. So those are accessories. Add as many as you like there. Laminates are similar to accessories, except we've got a couple of more little details here. We may want to add, let's say we're going to add a dry tack laminate here. Dry tack, I don't know, calendared lamb, for example, okay? The roll length, this is in inches, okay? Don't let this confuse you, but I've built a little calculator over here for you. Generally, a 150-foot roll is going to be 1,800 inches, and they're 54 inches wide. But if they say, let's say they give you a 100-foot roll, okay? We can say 100 feet here, and it's 1,200 inches. Let's say we're adding banner, for example, as a laminate. I don't know why. Let's say it's 165-foot roll. You can see it's 1,900 inches. And then, of course, we've got just conversions here into inches for you. So use that calculator as you like to convert to inches. And then the price per roll. So I think let's call these roll $350. And let's say we get that from Grimco. Grimco doesn't actually sell dry tack, but you get the idea. Square foot cost here is calculated at 51.9 cents, and then we have a markup that we'll want to put. Now, this markup here is profit margin built into this material, this product, this thing being added. It has nothing to do with labor or anything else. This markup is important to capture errors, to capture waste, to capture throwing away parts of a roll, things like that. So you can set this markup to whatever you like. On a laminate, I might suggest starting at 100% and seeing where that gets you. Now substrates. So hope that all makes sense with laminate. Laminate's pretty simple. and it's always considered a roll. Okay, keep that in mind. Substrates. Substrates is really where things get fun. And so what we want to do with our substrate here is we have 3 different type options, okay? And that's what I need to explain to you. So a rigid sheet is basically you've got a full-size sheet of material, and this calculator is actually going to do some imposition or nesting calculations. It's going to do some basic calculations. It'll try and rotate signs either vertically or horizontally to see how they best fit on a board. Now, it will not like rotate and do this kind of thing where it's got them 90 degrees. It's just full. They all either rotate 90 degrees or they don't rotate 90 degrees. There'll be some rotate 90 degrees and some stay vertical. It does not do calculations like that. That you need nesting software for. But this will do your basic kind of rectangular imposition, unless you say do not rotate. But that's how, these materials here are going in as a rigid sheet, and we're going to put the size in inches in the size of that sheet. And then corrugated plastic, for example, or coroplast has flutes. And so we can't just rotate a sign. It has to go in a certain way. So the flutes work with wire frames, right? So we say do not rotate. So it will not try to rotate that to get a better fit. Price per unit, $11, say, which the square foot cost is automatically calculated based on that. You can tell if there's a formula in the cell, don't delete it. Don't type anything in it. Let the formula do its job. And then markup, we have a 200% markup here on materials. This basically means that we're going to take it times 3. So a 200% markup on $11 means there's a $22 markup plus the original $11. We're at $33 a board is what we're charging just for the material here. And you can see I've got that all the way down. That makes a lot of sense to do. So that's the rigid sheets, okay? The next option that I'm going to skip square foot for a second. The next option that I have is roll, okay? So the sheets understand that you can only fit so much on a sheet, where roll, basically the way the imposition works is it assumes the rolls, even though we put a length in here, and you need to put a length in here, it assumes the rolls basically almost work off of an infinite length. Because most of the time, the jobs that you have are going to be less than a roll, and you can just keep printing on that roll. You don't have to switch the sheet out or cut another sheet down. And so usually you can get better yield off of a roll. And so the way that this calculator is calculating the use of a roll is more efficient than the use of a sheet. So if you have material that comes in a roll, say that it's a roll, okay? And so you can see I've got the roll size here, just like with the laminate. I've got the cost of the roll, and then it's automatically calculating a square foot price, and then I have my markup, which we've discussed. The final way to use this calculator and to use substrates in this calculator is by the square foot. If you don't want to mess with it at all and you just want to do everything square foot pricing, you don't want the calculator, you don't like how it's doing the imposition or spacing stuff out on a roll or a sheet, then just select square foot. And so what you can do then is you just put 12 by 12, which is a square foot. And since we've got square foot selected here, it's going to basically ignore all the nesting or all the the layouts and things like that. It's just going to calculate based on the square footage used. It's going to assume it always fits on your sheet or your roll. And you can kind of run like that. This is the simplest form of a calculator. You've actually seen, a lot of people set their calculators up this way. We originally did here at FireSprint, where everything's based on the square foot. But there you need to make sure that you are adding a little bit of buffer, because you're not accounting for any waste. Whereas if you do a rigid sheet or a roll type calculation, this calculator is accounting for waste for you. So you'll notice I've got coroplast 4 millimeter square foot, and I have that set at 50 cents per unit. So it's 50 cents for 12 by 12. Whereas the coroplast 4 by 8 sheets, I'm saying it's 34.4 cents per square foot. Does that make sense? So 50 cents per square foot versus 34.4 cents per square foot. So based on how I want to do it. So I might select this square foot calculation if I have some scrap that I'm using or something like that. But I hope this isn't too confusing for you. If it is, leave a note in the comments down below, and I'll try and explain this another way. But basically, you have these 3 options. You have rigid sheets, square foot, or roll. pick how you want to price out your substrates. And you're going to kind of see in the next videos how that all ties together. But make sure you go through and actually fill all this stuff out. Do not skip any of these fields, because that can cause errors in here. There's not just infinite amounts of error checking here. So make sure you're taking your time going through. And then, of course, when you have a field like this that has a formula in it, try not to edit that formula. If I mess with it, I do get an error. But if I click OK here, it's going to delete the field. So I want to hit cancel. And so just mind those and take your time filling this out. This is the fun part. This is where you're contacting your vendors and you're looking up these supplies and the materials. And then, of course, the primary vendor here really helps you remember where you got this price from. So thanks for watching. Check us out at firesprint.com. I'll see you in the next video. We want to work with you.